Yeah, the P42 DC.
We'll probably make a train-wide announcement shortly. We'll get right back to you, but we're going to join you today for the 116-mile journey from San Luis to Santa Barbara. It's sponsored by Park Service, Amtrak, and the Juan Bautista de Anza National Historic Trail. They've got like 60 highlights we'll share with you. They've got some special things to see only today on Vandenberg Space Force Base. We're going to go by 2 rockets that haven't been launched. One that's going to launch tomorrow morning at 7:30. SpaceX is sending up a Falcon 9. So get your cameras out for that one.
Of course, we're brought here first from Spain for sacramental purposes. Ultimately, you have come through a huge amount of vineyards coming this far. So you've seen a lot of vineyards. How wet was it in Pájaro? We're reading about Pájaro right after the quarry. Did it look pretty flooded there? It's made national news, if not more than that. So you're looking toward the coastal mountains there. On the right, you can see one of the Moros. There are 9 of them.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Michael in the cafe. For those of you just joined us at San Luis Obispo, folks, the cafe is located lower level of the sightseeing lounge car. You take cash, credit card, Apple Pay, or payment, whichever works best for you. So at this moment in time, folks, the cafe is once again open and serving lower level sightseeing lounge car. Thank you.
And the trees that are most prominent on train right are the California live oak, one of 14 native species of oak. It's called live because it's not deciduous and those leathery leaves are there all year round. Other trees that are typical of a stream community are the sycamore trees, which have white, kind of mottled, puzzled bark, and their canopies are kind of ranging. You can actually, in a small plain, see where the waterways are, because that's where the sycamores have their feet in the water, whether you can see the water or not.
Damn, we got the bad one.
Not yet. Yeah, who cares?
Me.
We're still in San Luis Obispo County. We will be for a while. Drive your car or your RV on the beach. Coastal Commission has closed that now. The OHV accessibility and car accessibility along the beach here. People can drive with dune buggies, cars, RVs, and camp. That's all going to stop just about 1 year. How did you get here? You would drive here. You could get out here. There's a train station to get out here.
We're coming up on a monarch butterfly preserve. Oh, we already passed it? Okay.
Damn.
The main street of Pismo Beach goes down to Ocean. Old train car coming up here, diner, right there. We have free public beaches in California. If you're a Californian, you probably take that for granted. But in Washington State, the beaches are not free. People own them. There might be a park at the beach, but a lot of other places there's development right on the beach, which makes it not so charming. So lots of RVs you can see here stored for people who live in the Central Valley. Come here and enjoy it. Much 40, 50 degrees cooler than the hot summers. And behind that, you can see the sand dunes. Sand dunes are ecologically very interesting. They're unusual on the planet, and they have special plants that grow on them. They have to be very salt tolerant, because salt is a good way to kill plants. If you want to kill weeds, salt in the water strong salt will kill plants. And these are especially interesting because of a historical thing about 100 years ago.
It just closed recently. In fact, it just closed this month. January it did, because not going to ship the oil after 60 years. That refinery with the yellow mountains of sulfur was shuttered January 10th. It's going to take years of remediation to clean up the refinery, but ConocoPhillips says they will. Anyway, converted heavy crude oil into high quality gasoline, diesel, and jet fuel, and now it's shut down. And the pipeline in San Francisco, Rodeo plant, is no longer needed. More dunes. I think we have like 9 miles of dunes. Oceano, Pismo, Guadalupe, protected dunes, Donna says. And she reminds me, that's a new twist. The limitation on off-road vehicles. From Santa Barbara County, in hoop houses, down in the Carpinteria Valley, Inez Valley, Humboldt 20%. So they went all in, and favorable materials, water, existing hoop houses, made a quick conversion when cannabis was legalized 4 years ago.
The ocean is right out in front of us, and so cool weather crops grow easily here. Things like snow peas and kale and broccoli. We're noticing today that there's
The strawberries were sold last year. Anyway, Santa Maria River flowing to the ocean. When we get to it, we'll point out the San Ynez River flowing to the ocean. Right here, Donna says, you can feel the trestle, the tree is smooth, here comes the water. This is incredible. It's usually stone dry, and I have to say, use your imagination. All that water is going to the ocean.
Ooh,
So
yeah.
dry California had a very wet winter.
They look like the river in I forgot.
out of 58 counties in
Sacramento.
California is the #1 drought county, which is something that's evolved during the climate change. We have the more drought than any other county. Most Santa Barbans, look at those horses, cool. Station. The local train is called the Starlight. From San Luis Obispo down to northern San Diego. This called Starlight actually was stopped for several days because of the flooding of Pajaro. And there's this historic cemetery. Across the street from, this looks like cabbage or something.
We're busy now.
Lots of celery is grown here. You can see the oil wells in the background. The idea behind the robotic picking is, in the future, the labor source is unpredictable. The problems in the soil, the fumigants, are also wild cards, so they're evolving toward hydroponic growing in water and dealing with
just north of Big Sur. So a friend who lives up there wrote recently that he estimates 2 years for the opening of Highway 1 above Ragged Point. So because of the landslides, it's going to be a long haul to get that road recovered to through traffic. Oh, look at that. We're coming along a part of the coast. You'll hear us talk a lot about oil production, and actually oil pollution too. We've had spills and blowouts. But oil has been a part of this land. In 1904, Warren Orcutt, a petroleum engineer for Union Oil, was towing a wagon near Santa Maria, and the oiler and the drill rig, what have you, on the wagon fell off. Rather than load it back up, Orcutt said, let's drill here, see what we find. Anyway, he drilled. Imagine, there'll be a lot to talk about. Have your cameras ready if you want to see Elon Musk's next launch of a Falcon 9 rocket tomorrow morning at 7:29. It's an active base. They've had 6 Falcons lift off since 2023, all successfully. In the distance on train left, we see a gray gantry. The gray gantry on train left on the horizon is what was used for, let me tell you exactly. The Atlas V, November 1st, 2022 was the last Atlas V rocket. I'm sorry, that's the wrong one. No, that wasn't what I did. The Atlas V. The gantry. We're on a trestle now. Look out to the sea. This is San Antonio Creek. Smooth trestle down there. The sedans of camped. It's on your map a little tip. The wind. It's very windy here. You can't tell it in the train. But the settlers, pioneers, camped overnight in San Antonio Creek. The other significance of that little 15,000 people. Sandinez River, very rare. Oh, look at, there's a great blue heron flying by. Sandinez River is flowing to the ocean. We've never seen this really since 2011. There's so much water. This is the drinking water for Santa Barbara, but we can't retain it because the 3 dams we have are all spilling. So there's no way to keep the water. It's flowing downstream through Lompoc here to Sandinez River Basin. And we're coming up on the...
They nest from March to September, and all they do is lay their eggs right on the sand. The bird looks kind of camouflaged.
Right, ladies and gentlemen, at this time, I'd like to invite for a 6 o'clock dinner reservations in dine car. If you're holding on to 6 o'clock, kindly make your way to the diner. Upon entering the diner, please verify the door for a uniform attendant to seat you. This is the call for 6 o'clock dinner reservations. Thank you.
And the habitat is a problem because the bird just lays its eggs right on the sand, and human can step on it very easily, and dogs can maraud the birds. So they are being protected. They're endangered, and the population in these 3 counties is about 1/3 of the natural range population.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's Michael in the cafe. Folks, in about 10 minutes, the cafe will temporarily close. I'm going to take a brief dinner break. If you'd like to get something to eat or drink from the cafe, please make your way down at this time. Again, folks, in about 10 minutes, the cafe will close for about 30 to 45 minutes for a dinner break, and then I'll make an opening announcement once I do return and ready to serve. Thank you.
The Atlas V rocket. That was the weather rocket that went up. But now you see SpaceX, and the rocket is now in launch mode. When we came up this morning, it was laying flat. You see next to SpaceX the rocket. It's the huge Falcon 9. It's got 10 satellites on top of it. There's going to be launched military-wise. 10 Trancho satellites will return and land the same place it took off. They reused the first stage. So there's this, it's an excellent view right now. It was flat this morning. It means we're less than, or almost 12 hours away from liftoff. But now you can see it right there, ready to go. Go to SpaceX.com and go launch. Perfect picture. Lucky. Sometimes it's foggy. It's all set to go. Next up, well, it's actually a good place to take a picture. Not a finer view. You can't see this from anything but the train. The citizens of Lompoc, but the Navy removes the superstructure, and after 100 years, you can't see the destroyers. Three of the skippers were court-martialed. It was the worst U.S. It'll be on train right, of course. Jesus Christ.
The sheesh?
Yeah. What are you doing, man? Wait, Matt, when was your spring break? When was your spring break?
Ooh, that's spring break stuff. Oh,
Sorry. Yeah, whatever.
not that.
See how much more Pacific the water is here than it was on the other side of Conception. Tranquilo. It's still really cold though.
Never
Thomas
ever
says
made
it's
to
the
the
Eagles
101
Beach,
yet.
lots of driftwood. Anyway, the people just pulled over on the side of the 101 freeway and are walking across the track, and there they are. But the fire, the Alisal fire came through. We didn't know what started it. Can you hear me? Alisal's quite a distance away. But the palm fronds, when they catch on fire, they blow and sail like kites, starting the fire 2 miles ahead. And it actually burned. Yeah, those trees there. It actually burned across the freeway, closing the train for 4 days. So both the northbound 101 and the train tracks were closed while they battled the fire, which essentially burned itself out of the ocean. There's some other ones, other trees that are victims of the Alisal fire. Some of it I think is open. Is it? Maybe not. Oh yeah, there we go. When did you get back? RVs and campers. When did you get back? State Park. Make a reservation online. Refugio State Beach. Lose inches every year to the sea, so it's taking the spike path first.
Arrogant? Oh, your neighbor. It's Julian's neighbor. He's pretty cool.
Group facilities. And they have a llama farm. Marty, I think it's too dark to do.
So we're going to sign off in a minute, but I wanted to just share with you, we thank our sponsors. And
Dude, I don't pick a school for the school, bro. I mean, I don't pick a school. I don't pick a school. Yeah, it is kind of ass. San Francisco round trip flights for like 38 bucks, bro.
We have tonight.
No,
However, we highly advise, and I repeat this as a society advise, do not be out of sight nor earshot of this train. We will only be as long as we need to off-board passengers, on-board new arrivals.
Oh yeah, I found tickets.
And because the surfliner that usually runs behind us is ahead of us, that means the people waiting for our train are lower in number.
And then from
Starlight tickets are valid on that train.
yeah, and then from London, you
Nonetheless,
take Ryanair.
pay attention to the people on the platform when you don't see a line of new arrivals. That's a pretty good indication we're going to holler all aboard, which you will hear anyway. Santa Barbara, 10 minutes.
Okay. Bro, I'll go anywhere.
Can we get out of here? Should we get? Should we go to the downstairs?
What?
Because we're getting off in a minute.
No, we still got
We're gonna go from so much room to no room.
what?
We're gonna go from so much room to no room.
Bro, okay, I had to check my passport anytime. Yeah, hell yeah. Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, I bought it. Was it for everything? Round trip, I bought it for like 700, but right now you can get something like 500 round trip. But it's not like over the summer. It's like you have to do like really specific dates. But there's a, I don't know, the alternatives places. But I'm not even kidding. I'm like next couple weeks I'm flying to San Francisco just for like a couple days and come back. I didn't get that. Or I might even go to New York or something.
Toledo.
You are? Okay, bro. I might go somewhere. Ah, fuck. Yeah. I'd potentially road trip. It depends when. But. What's your gas mileage?
2,988.
Well, what's your gas mileage? Wait, no, Matthew, what's your gas mileage? Yeah, highway. Oh, is that similar to yours? Bro, y'all trying to go like you guys? Wait, y'all wanna go? I'm not even kidding. Bro, hell yeah, we can get a hotel. Okay, give me the dates. Give me the dates.